Hello students, welcome back to another video tutorial of the series of mutations. This is our second lecture and today we are going to have a recap about what has been taught and then finish the topic of mutational biology. Okay, so here we are. In our last lecture, I have already told you the different types of mutations. We have characterized them, we have categorized them. This is just a short recap so that you can understand what you have previously learned. See, we have classified mutations into the following two basic types. Mutations which were sudden inheritable changes within the genetic material of an organism. They have been categorized into two different types. One is referred to as the geomatic mutations, another one is referred to as the chromosomal aberrations. Now, geomatic mutations were the one which refers to changes within the set of chromosomes. Changes in set or number of chromosomes. This one was referred to as the geomatic mutations. But when we were talking about the chromosomal aberrations, the chromosomal aberrations here refers to the changes within the structure of the chromosome. The structure of the chromosome has been disoriented, is referred to as chromosomal aberrations. Okay? Alteration in the structure of chromosome. Alteration in the structure of chromosome. Of chromosomes. In this class, we are going to talk about geomatic mutations. In the next one, we are going to discuss about chromosomal aberration and finish the topic of mutations. Now, geomatic mutations I have already classified into Euploidy and Aneuploidy. Euploidy refers to the variation in the set of the chromosome. There is a trick that you can remember. The trick is that the Euploidy can be specifically remembered through this letter E. Trick is Euploidy refers to the changes in the set of chromosomes. This is set. So this E represents the set of chromosomes. So in the case of Euploidy, there is an alteration in the set of chromosomes. Okay. Now there can be either an increase in the number of chromosomes or there could be either a decrease in the number of chromosomes. If the number of chromosomes are being increased, then the term that is being used is to increase in the ploidy. So such type of organisms will be referred to as triploids, triploids. Increased by 2, the chromosome number, the chromosomal sets are being increased, then it is called as tetraploid. Increases by an X number, the organism will be referred to as autopolyploid or allopolyploid. Such type of organisms are referred to as polyploids. Polyploids. Polyploids have n number of chromosomal sets increased within their genetic material. Their chromosomal sets have been increased by a value of n, then it is referred to as polyploids. So you can write here 2n plus xn refers to polyploids. Now let us understand what is polyploidy, what is autopolyploidy, what is allopolyploidy. In the case of polyploidy, the number of chromosomes are being increased. So I am talking about polyploidy here. Okay. So this topic I am taking here, polyploidy. Okay. First point, increase in the set of the chromosomes by a value of n. Increase in the set of chromosomes n times is referred to as polyploidy. Now, polyploidy can be of two different types, autopolyploidy and allopolyploidy. Autopolyploidy is a type of polyploidy in which the same set of chromosomes are being increased. When the different set of chromosomes are being increased, they are being combined together and then through colchicine treatment, the enhancement in chromosomal number is being done. These are different set of chromosomes that have been taken and there is colchicine. which has been provided to increase the chromosomal number, then it is referred to as Ploidy. There are two important points from where the questions have been asked in NEET entrance examination. Those two important points are polyploidy increases or enhances the disease resistant capacity of the plant. Okay, so this would be enhancing the disease resistant capacity of the plant. The disease are not going to take place in the case of plants. Another key important point in the case of polyploidy will be that the polyploidy is induced by colchicine treatment. This colchicine drug causes the doubling of the chromosome number. This will cause the doubling of the chromosome number to take place, so that the chromosome numbers have been increased. Next, only even number of chromosome containing plants will be able to reproduce sexually, as even number of chromosomes can get equally distributed in the case of daughter cells. केवल even number of chromosomes को ही आप equally distribute कर सकते हो daughter cells में. You cannot differentiate the odd number of chromosomes into two equal daughter cells. For example, say the case is 7n. Okay, now you cannot divide the 7n into two equal halves in the daughter cell. One would become 4n, another one would become 3n. Such type of plant cannot perform sexual reproduction, because it has odd number of chromosomes. So only even number of chromosome containing plant will be able to reproduce sexually. You can see here the number of chromosomes will become 4n equal to 36, even number of chromosomes. That means when it will form gametes, it will produce two different types of gamete. 2n equal to 18, 2n equal to 18. So these are two different types of gametes, and they are equally present, and they would be present in equal number. So only the even number of chromosome containing plant will be able to reproduce sexually in the case of polyploidy. The next important point is that now geomatic mutations, I am just rubbing this up. Now geomatic mutations have been categorized into aneuploidy. Aneuploidy, how to remember this aneuploidy? You can remember it through this letter N. N refers to change in the number of chromosomes. It refers to change or alteration in the number of chromosomes, and refers to changes in the alteration in the number of chromosomes. Okay, number of chromosomes. Okay, so this is the trick. Here there is an alteration in the set of chromosome, here there is an alteration in the number of chromosome. यहाँ पर set में change हुआ है chromosome की, यहाँ पर number में हो रहा है. Set का मतलब क्या है? आप diploid हो, diploid से triploid हो गए, ये set है. Diploid से triploid हो गए, ये set है. Set के अंदर अगर decrease हो गया है तो आप बन गए हैं haploid. For example, the creation of haploid plants. हैप्लॉइड प्लांट्स का बनना, द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ हैप्लॉइड प्लांट इज एन एग्जांपल ऑफ यूप्लॉइडी. Now, when you are talking about hypoaneuploidy, then what is happening? Hypoaneuploidy में क्या हो रहा है? That is aneuploidy, change in the number of chromosomes. Now, number of chromosomes is going to be vary. Chromosome का number change होने वाला है. Here there is a decrease in the chromosome number by 1. As there is a decrease in the chromosome number by 1, so this will be referred to as monosomy. What do you mean by monosomy? There is a decrease in the chromosome number by 1. Now, this monosomy is found in the case of Turner syndrome. It's found in the case of Philadelphia chromosome syndrome. So that we are going to look forward. When you have lost both the copies of a single chromosome, आपने एक क्रोमोसोम की दोनों कॉपी खो दी हैं, दोनों कॉपी नहीं पाई जा रही, क्रोमोसोम किसी भी एक क्रोमोसोम की दोनों कॉपी नहीं पाई जा रही हैं, तो इसे हम क्या बोलते हैं बेटा? डबल मोनोसोमी. डबल मोनोसोमी ये होता है रेटिनोब्लास्टोमा केस के अंदर. जो रेटाइना का कैंसर होता है उसे हम रेटिनोब्लास्टोमा कहते हैं. उसका एग्जाम्पल अभी मैं आपको बताने वाला हूं. दिस इज कॉल्ड एज नलीसोमी. इन द केस ऑफ नलीसोमी यू हैव लॉस्ट बोथ द कॉपीज ऑफ द सेम जीन. यहां पर आपने दोनों कॉपी एक ही क्रोमोसोम की लॉस्ट कर दी है, तो उसे आप बोलेंगे नलीसोमी. अगर आपने एक एक कॉपी लॉस्ट किया अलग अलग क्रोमोसोम की, अलग अलग क्रोमोसोम की आपने लॉस्ट किया, क्रोमोसोम नंबर 10 की एक कॉपी लॉस्ट कर दी, क्रोमोसोम नंबर 16 की एक कॉपी लॉस्ट कर दी, तो उसे हम क्या बोलते हैं? डबल मोनोसोमी. डबल मोनोसोमी व्हेन देयर इज द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ अ सिंगल कॉपी ऑफ अ क्रोमोसोम ड्यू टू द लॉस ऑफ अनदर कॉपी एंड देयर आर टू डिफरेंट क्रोमोसोम्स इन्वॉल्व्ड, देन इट इज कॉल्ड एज डबल मोनोसोमी. Now, monosomy, some of the key important examples of monosomy. Examples. Some of the key important examples of monosomy includes the Turner syndrome. The Turner syndrome. Now, what do you mean by Turner syndrome? What is this Turner syndrome? Turner syndrome is a condition when there is 45 number of chromosomes. So there are 22 autosome pair plus X0. This is what is referred to as Turner syndrome. Turner syndrome is being caused by the loss of a copy of X chromosome. Caused, present only in female, first point, present only in females, caused due to loss of a copy of X chromosome. The next is it makes a sterile females sterile. It makes sterile females. Sometimes mental retardations are also being produced. The rudimentary secondary sexual characters, sexual characters are observed or present. The secondary sexual characters are all rudimentary, then it is referred to as the Turner syndrome. So this is all about the Turner syndrome, the first example of monosomy. Another example of monosomy could be the Philadelphia syndrome. Now, what do you mean by Philadelphia syndrome? Philadelphia syndrome. In the case of Philadelphia syndrome, there is a loss of 21st chromosome. Loss of 21st chromosome. So there is an autosome that is being lost. So this is a sex chromosome loss, this is a loss of autosome. The loss of autosome encoding formation of antibodies large chain leads to development of an immunocompromised individual. This will lead to the development of an immunocompromised individual. Compromised individual. This will lead to the development of an immunocompromised individual. Another thing which is important is that this person is going to Philadelphia syndrome, person is going to fall sick again and again, and this syndrome could be life-threatening in nature. So these are the two best examples of monosomy. An example of nullisomy. Okay, this is being done. And the other examples of double monosomy and nullisomy has never been asked, but still you can write it down that retinoblastoma is one of the most important example of these. Now, when we are talking about the formation of haploid plants, the haploid plants formation, the formation of haploid plants through the Aneuploidy were also being pioneered by Maheshwari and Guha at Delhi University, where they created the first haploid plant using the above techniques, using the techniques, tools and techniques of the mutational biology. The other one is hyperaneuploidy. In the case of hyperaneuploidy, there would be an increase in the number of chromosomes. Here, hypo, the word hypo means decrease. Hypo was decrease in number. Decrease in number of chromosome, and here there is hyper means increase in number of chromosomes. So there is an increase in the number of chromosomes. Here the chromosomes are going to be increased, and as the chromosome number is going to be increased, see this, the difference is that here the set of the chromosomes were increased. यहाँ पर भैया set increase हुए थे, यहाँ पर number increase हो रहा है, number increase हो रहे हैं. तो देखिए number increase हुआ तो ये क्या हो जाएगा भाई बताइए, जब आपने एक क्रोमोसोम को और ऐड कर दिया है तो ये क्या हो जाएगा, trisomy. It would be trisomy in nature. When you have added 2 chromosomes, then it would be tetrasomy, and so on. Now trisomy, you would have heard about this term trisomy. There are several examples of trisomy included in your syllabus. Which are those examples? Okay? So we are talking about the examples of trisomy. Which are those examples? The first example of trisomy here is that when you are talking about the most important syndrome, the Down syndrome. The Down syndrome. What happens in the case of Down syndrome? Trisomy of 21st chromosome. Trisomy of 21st chromosome. This is Down syndrome. Okay. Now what happens in the case of Down syndrome? The person's face becomes flattened. Person has Mongolic appearances. Person has Mongolic appearances. Flat face, thick lips. The IQ level is quite low, so it is also referred to as Mongolic idiot. IQ is too low. The person suffers from cardiovascular disorders. The person here suffers from cardiovascular disorder. The person suffers from cardiovascular disorders. Lifespan is too short. so the lifespan is shortened. Then these are the different examples of these are different characteristic features of Down syndrome. There is another example of hyper-aneuploidy, the other syndrome that is referred to as the Patau syndrome. I would be rubbing this up. देखिए एक और एग्जाम्पल है इसका जिसका नाम है पटाउ सिंड्रोम. अब इस सिंड्रोम में क्या होता है और क्या किया जाता है वो हमें देखना है. द अदर वन इज PATA, Patau syndrome. This syndrome is trisomy of 13th chromosome. Now what happens in the trisomy of the 13th chromosome that we will be looking forward. In the case now I am teaching about Patau syndrome. मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ Patau syndrome के बारे में. तो इसके अंदर देखिए ट्राइसोमी किसकी है, 13th क्रोमोसोम की है. तो अगर 13th क्रोमोसोम की ट्राइसोमी हो रही है बेटा तो होगा क्या, यहाँ पर भी पर्सन मेंटली रिटार्डेड बन जाता है. लेकिन कुछ करेक्टरिस्टिक फीचर हैं, वो क्या है, प्रेजेंस ऑफ हेयर्स ओवर द लिप्स. बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट कैरेक्टरिस्टिक फीचर बार बार पूछा गया है नीट और CBSE एंट्रेंस एग्जामिनेशंस में. प्रेजेंस ऑफ हेयर्स ओवर द लिप्स, IQ लेवल लो, growth defects, etc. are seen in the case of Patau syndrome. Now the other syndrome that is being involved is Edward syndrome. Edward syndrome is a trisomy of the 18th chromosome. Edward syndrome, it is trisomy of 18th chromosome. If there is a trisomy of 18th chromosome, 18वें क्रोमोसोम की अगर ट्राइसोमी हो गई है तो उसे हम एडवर्ड सिंड्रोम कहते हैं. Now please focus here. In the case of Edward syndrome, what we are going to get is that the person becomes mentally retarded, has body defect, then the person growth is not taking place adequately and the person dies off much more quickly. Okay, then it is referred to as Edward syndrome. IQ low, growth defects, person dies off earlier, short longevity, reduced longevity, so this is reduced longevity, then it is referred to as Edward syndrome. All these are referred to as autosomal trisomies. All these are called as autosomal trisomies. Why they are called as autosomal trisomies? Because they are taking place in the case of autosomes. Then there are others also. These are all autosomal trisomies. There are others which might be taking, and what is that? That is referred to as the sex chromosome trisomy. I am just rubbing this out. There are two other examples of this trisomy. Example. And these examples are not of autosomes, they are of sex chromosome. Sex chromosomal trisomies. Which are these? The first one is called as Klinefelter syndrome. Now what happens in the case of Klinefelter syndrome? Klinefelter syndrome can be represented as XXY. Klinefelter syndrome को हम XXY से लिखते हैं. XXY plus 22 autosomes. So what is going to happen? It occurs only exclusively in the case of males. Found exclusively only in males. Found only in males, the trisomy or the monosomy of this X chromosome takes place. The number of X chromosome has been increased. The number of X chromosome, that is trisomy of sex chromosome occur. Number of bar body. The number of bar body can be explained with this formula. Number of bar body equal to number of X chromosome minus 1. Here the number of in normal males, the genotype is 22 autosomes plus XY. So number of bar bodies equals to 0. Hence, number of bar bodies equal to 1 minus 1, number of X chromosome minus 1 equal to 0. In Klinefelter syndrome, what is going to happen? Hence, number of bar body equals to there are 2 X chromosome minus 1, so there would be 1. So the number of bar bodies has been reduced to 1. So in the case of males also, there would be the presence of a bar body. There would be the presence of a bar body. Such type of males are completely sterile. They are sterile in nature. Such males are sterile. Another type of syndrome, which is a trisomy and is present in your syllabus, included in your syllabus. See, Klinefelter is very important. It's very, very important. Please try to remember these. These types of questions have also been asked in NEET and CBSE entrance examinations. So another type of syndrome which is of key importance is the last one, the XXX syndrome. The XXX syndrome. Trisomy of the X chromosome is taking place. In this, trisomy of X chromosome occurs. I am going to write about this XXX syndrome here, okay, so that you can understand it better. Trisomy of the X chromosome. देखिए, Klinefelter के अंदर ट्राइसोमी सेक्स क्रोमोसोम की हुई थी. It was the sex chromosome which has undergone trisomy, not the X chromosome. Whereas in the case of XXX syndrome, it is the X chromosome that has undergone trisomy. Trisomy of the X chromosome has taken place. Trisomy of the X chromosome. The next important point is occurs only in female. Only in female. The female became completely sterile. Such females are commonly called as meta females. Okay. The number of bar bodies, the total number of bar body equals to number of X chromosome minus 1. There are 3 X chromosome, minus 1 would be, there would be 2 bar bodies in such type of female. More than 1 bar body, in such females is present. Okay, secondary sexual characters are adequately developed, but the female is sterile. Here in the case of Turner syndrome, the secondary sexual characters were ill developed. Here they are better developed but still sterile. Secondary sexual characters are well developed. Okay, so these are some of the examples. I would rub this out. So these are some of the key most important syndromes that are included in your syllabus, and this is all about the different types of syndromes that were being included whenever, wherever, with each and every example. Now this is all for today's lecture. In our next class we would be talking about chromosomal aberration and finishing of the topic. Once mutation is being finished, we will initiate our genetics from the initiation part, from the first part, the Mendelian genetics, and we will continue our lectures. Okay, after the genetics I will start from the first unit and the first chapter, so that the entire part could be finished off, could be winded up. Okay, best of luck.